think we're here. I think we are here. Let me get this going, you all. The Cyclops of old. Is the Cyclops a mythical creature? Was there ever any proof that the Cyclops ever existed? Was there any proof? Well, pretty sure there was proof, you all, that this Cyclops existed. You know, we've seen movies about them. They've been in famous old, you know, ancient movies where they're, you know, they're battling the people just because they want to battle them with the one eye in their head. And there probably is a species called the Cyclops, quite possibly so, that exist on this earth, and we may not see them. Maybe they are in another dimension or something like that. Perhaps they are. I'm going to try to get this thing going on, you all. Can I get this video pulled up? I'm trying. I really am trying, you all. We got some people on here, the Cyclops of old, and I hope we don't have any Cyclops watching us. If we do, I hope it's a good Cyclops, not a bad Cyclops. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, Applebrooks, honey. Let's get to this, you all. So I will be sweating up here because it's quite hot, so that's all right. We can do it. Yes, we've got it. Let's boom. Okay, we got it, you all. We're gonna look at the Cyclops. We're gonna look at some pictures of these Cyclops. Let's look at this one just for one moment in time. Now there are different ones, and why? Listen, why would there be a Marvel thing with a Cyclops person back in, I guess this is 20 something? Why would a human, it reminds me of that great big robot that, was it like some type of invasion on Earth, and the robot stood up tall and it had an eye that, like that it went around with its laser and go bzzz, bzzz, just like that. Yeah, that's what that reminds me of right there. Let's look at some other ones up close. They look pretty wild, but I don't think they'd be a reptilian. They look kind of human-like too. Design Academy. Here's one with a head. There could be all different types of Cyclops. And then we got this. Look at this. Why do you got a Roman Cyclops map? What if it wasn't just a map? Why is that? Is that representative of the third eye? Do you think that it is representative of the third eye, the pineal gland or something? That is wild if it is. What if we used to have three eyes? What if the human race used to have three eyes and they decided they would do something with the eye in the middle of their head and that pineal gland and stuff, and then, you know, make it not visible or something like that? What if that really is kind of like a symbolic thing, your third eye? Why is, and let's see this. Why is this Cyclops? It has some kind of constellations behind it. Why would that be? Unless Canis Major, Columbus. I don't understand why they would do that. It's at the Geological Museum. Can you all think of any reason why there would be a Cyclops at the Geological Museum? Yeah. Perception. And then perhaps they just like invented these beings right here. Is that possible? What's this, a Homer Simpson thing? Oh, Simpson Wiki. So normally they have a lot of clues that come out of them. The Cyclops. Look, they listen. They have to make the contents of this article or section are based on a deleted scene found in one of the DVD box sets. It is considered non-canon and therefore may not have actually happened or existed. the Cyclops captured Odysseus, I don't know who Odysseus is, and his friend, and he tied them up around a pole. After he smeared them with grill oil, he said he was going to eat them because he felt bad about himself. So he ate the Professor Frink, and after he finished eating Frink, Odysseus and his men jumped, so the pole ended up in the Cyclops' one eye. Why would he be eating? Why would they have a scene with a Cyclops like that? Then the Cyclops started screaming, saying that he is a freak, and Odysseus and his friends managed to escape, but the Cyclops yelled to them that he will not eat them. He only needs combining some of whipping. So it's like David and Goliath. David took the stone and he hit Goliath right there in the center of the head where the weak point was, you all. Do you think that the Cyclops, that giant in the Bible, Goliath, is it possible that Goliath had perhaps a eye in the center of his head too? Is it possible? I've never thought of it before, but I think it probably could be possible, maybe. And then boom. That's very an interesting thought to think about that Cyclops. He ran into a giant woman island too. Danny Lovely, who ran into a giant woman island? Was it the Cyclops and a giant woman item? Look. What do they got? Something's called drugstore something. Oops. It can't be found. So this can't be found. Why do they got the causes, the symptoms to treat the Cyclops? Homer's Odyssey. Homer's Odyssey, and they went into an island with women. Homer's Odyssey. Dysssey, and Island of Women. Why an island of women? That's really... The women in the Odyssey, the goddesses, the wives, the lovers, and the threats. Well, this Odysseus, he didn't have a third eye. The perfect wife and all of that kind of stuff. That's really strange and interesting. It is. Let's get back over here, you all, because the Cyclops, I'm sure they must have existed. Otherwise, they look. What is a three-eyed mythical creature? A basilisk. A basilisk, isn't that like a snake with an eye on its head? It kills with the third eye on its forehead. See, now they're calling it the third eye. I don't say that because that is a very powerful entity, the basilisk. Very powerful entity, third eye. I spelled it wrong, but I'm sure it's, look at that. We got to read this, y'all, because this is really, sounds like it's real. Let's see what they wrote here. Oh, now this looks like a bird. The extremely real science behind the basilisk's lethal gaze. Okay, this is good. So according to the extramention theory of vision, our eyes will send out beams of elemental fire that can spread nerve-like to create the visual field. Now, isn't this interesting? Do you think it's possible that our eyes could send out beams of elemental fire that spread nerve-like create the visual field? I remember that. We're all mad here. I remember that thing, and that wasn't a very nice story. Yeah, she got punished. That's right. So this thing right here with the third eye. This is 2019. The basilisk, which slays its victim with a single glance, seems as fanatical as a scorpion-tailed manticore or the barnacle tree. What is a barnacle tree? Well, I think I know what a barnacle looks like, but I've never saw a barnacle tree. Okay, well, that's a barnacle tree. That's got nodules all over it. Nodules. Oh my goodness. Okay, we found a barnacle tree. And it sprouts goslings like fruit. But there was a perfectly reasonable scientific explanation for the basilisk lethal look. The extramission theory. I've never heard that word before. Extramission. Do they mean an additional dimension? An extra mission. I've never seen it before this day, so I'd like to see what it means. I really would. What does an extra mission mean? It literally means that you are sending out. You're sending out, and the extra mission theory is the belief that vision is a force emitted from the eye, and it is an intuitive understanding of vision common. Let's see this. And vision common. Shoot. Let's read the rest of this, y'all. We're gonna look at this later. Have you ever sensed that somebody might be watching you? Okay, that we can get this. Have you ever sensed that someone might be watching you? You get a prickly feeling at the back of your neck, and you turn to see a stranger is staring at you across the room. It sometimes seems that we can feel a person's gaze as a physical sensation. And from a single glance, we can tell a lot about a person, such as their moods, their intentions, and their focus. Is their gaze dangerous, interesting, or attractive? Do they stare directly or glance to the side? If the eyes are the window into the soul, then a glance reveals far more than we know, you all. That's pretty telling. Look, humans attribute gaze with physical properties. We create tactic mental schemes in which the visual attention of the others is computed as a forceful beam emitted from the viewer's eye and directed at the object of interest. These mental schemes allow us to take cognitive shortcuts to process people's visual attention quickly and efficiently. Look, your gaze is an elemental form of communication. It conveys social dynamics without a gesture or even a spoken word. I like that. I do like that. So according to when the extra mission theory, it was developed by such thinkers as Plato, Galen, Euclid, and Ptolemy. Our eyes are more than the passive recipients of images. Rather, they send out eye beams and feelers made of elemental fire that spread nerve-like to create our field of vision. These luminous tendrils stream out from our eyes into the world, apprehending objects in their path and relaying back to us their qualities. You all, I never really thought about the gaze before. Have you all thought about the gaze before? People with PTSD have this attribute with their gaze. It's like, yeah. Okay, this is interesting. When objects are too far to see, it's because our eye beams can't stretch far enough to reach them. The extramissionists proposed a theory of vision completely alien. We could talk about some aliens to our current way of thinking. Though they saw the world in the same way as we did, The way that they saw seeing was something else entirely. In the words of Empedocles, I don't know how you say it, as when a man who intends to make a journey prepares a light for himself, a flame of fire burning through a wintry night, in the same way the elemental fire, wrapped in membranes and delicate tissues, was then concealed in the round pupil. Your nonverbal autistic son does not look into people's eyes because he feels unsafe or a low frequency. He cannot speak like a typical 17-year-old, but he speaks louder through his intuition. And there are a lot of people who can speak with their eyes. Your eyes, all you had to do is look at somebody and think, okay. Yeah. Sometimes, I don't know. But yeah, it's true. In this view, sight is essentially a species of touch. The extramissionist theory explained why it is that as objects recede into the distance, their detail blurs, because they take up less of our visual field and there are fewer eye beams to strike their surface and feel the intricacies. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the Cyclops, and it reminded me of the third eye because it's a big eye in the middle of his head, and that's where the pineal gland is supposed to be. And I thought, well, this is how we ended up right here. Likewise, when objects are too far to see, it's because our eye beams can't stretch enough to reach them. And this explains why squinting, if you squint, it can help you see distant details. The narrowed aperture focuses your eye beams into a single point, and the luminous gleam of a cat's eye in the dark was considered to be visible proof of the fire emanating from their pupils. Wow! And one philosopher proposed that the reason we get dizzy watching waves or wheels whirl is that following the motion with our eyes actually makes our eye beams twist and turn. That sounds gross, you all. I don't want my eye beams twisting and turning. I really do not. Let me see something. There is something, if say you lost your glasses, tell me if you've heard of this. If you lost your glasses, emergency pinholes in tape for eye glasses. Okay, now let's look at this. So they sell glasses that have little pinholes in them. Gina, honey, well, what do these pinholes in the glasses do? Why do I gotta have pinholes in my glasses? Well, pinholes.com. You see the pinhole glasses? Glasses and contact lenses are merely a crutch for your eyes, and they do not address the real cause. So your eyes will become lazy. Let's see this, you all, because I saw this in an emergency situation. If you lost your glasses, you could poke holes in something, and it would help you see better. So let me see if I can find it. It's why does the doctor do a pinhole test? It retained its value over the years. Have you heard of that? You want to see like a fly. Wow, that's really interesting. Blackjack gator. Pinholes. Put pinholes in, I don't know, tape for emergency glasses. Let's see. If I could find something, I would. 28 ways to use the duct tape. Well, this only pulled up the duct tape. Whatever they're good for. It's a Visual Academy. It's supposed to make you Look, when the shit hits the fan. Gina, you just said a bad word. Well, it's popped out of my mouth. The S-H-I-T hits the fan. Look right here. I want you all to see this because we're talking about our eyes here. If you wear glasses, eventually at some point you'll end up breaking them, especially in a SHITF situation. And if you don't have a spare set, you could be in a world of trouble. Pinhole glasses aren't some new discovery. People have known for some time now that looking through tiny holes can sharpen your vision. So if you find yourself with broken glasses, you can make a pair using some duct tape. So check out the video below by the survival doctor showing you how to do it. How you make a pinhole with that. It's right there, you all. And I would, let me see this. I want to poke him. Let's see how to make pinhole glasses. Since we're talking about the third eye, this is about your eye. Oh, Gina, we can't hear him talk. Well, I can't hear him talk either, y'all. Let's see what he does. He's took this. He's just poked the holes in aluminum foil. Well, that is duct tape. He's not going to really show much because this is a blurry one. You take a pin, you put holes in it. You can see. Just keep poking them. And you can hold it over your eye. For a written version of this video, along with many others, you had to survival medicine, you all right there. Let me put the link to the survival medicine. If you didn't know that you can do that, well, you can. So that's good to know that if you got to have some duct tape, you can do it with cardboard too. But people often do lose their glasses. They really do. Now let's get back to the, was it that? Yeah. So, of course, there were objections. For instance, how is it that we can see the constellations the instant we turn our eyes to the night sky? Well, that's a good question. If gazing on the stars means our visual tendrils must stretch far enough to touch them, the answer riddles like these, alternate versions of theory, developed. Some argue that when our eyes met the air, they convert the atmosphere itself into an organ for our senses. Others argue that the objects we see send out beams of their own, which meet and meld with the beams of our eyes. Hello there, Linda, honey. Yeah, interesting. The counter theory to intromission is almost equally alien. Why do they say alien? Democritus, an intromissionist, put forth the bizarre theory. The objects around us slaw off a continuous stream of atom-thin flakes called idola, each miniature replica of its source. Idola float through the air until they meet our open eyes and they stamp themselves into our perception. The best evidence for this theory, according to proponents, was the fact that when you gaze into someone's eye, you see a floating miniature of the scene around them. Well, that's kind of interesting. Byzantine. Oh, let's see this, you all. The debate between the intromissions and the extramissionists went into the Middle Ages. The Byzantine icons derived much of their reverential impact. The worshippers were in fact caressing the holy object with their gaze, and their depths and their reliefs they play of light, shadow, rich, shimmering, whatever. Less holy is the erotic poet. How did we get on these? Are we on something different now? I don't know how we got into erotic stuff. Okay, we're talking about the basilisks. Our hams were firmly cemented with a fast bomb, which then did spring our eye beams twisted and did thread our eyes open one double string. So as for the basilisk, if the rays of the eyes could touch you, it stood to a reason that, under the right circumstances, they could also hurt you. Sir Thomas Browne expressed the best. Writing it is not impossible. What is affirmed of this animal, the visible rays of their eyes carrying forth the subtlest portion of their poison, which is received by the eye of man or beast, infecteth first the brain, and is from thence communicated to the heart. That was interesting. He was talking about the third eye, and this thing right here. It's proposing that your eyes have something like an elemental beam to them, more or less. Is that what they said? An elemental beam. You know, what are you doing over there? Where was we at? The elemental beam. I didn't want to do the pinhole glasses, but this right here one. Let's get over here. Dungeons and Dragons. I never did like that game at all. What is that? Animals. Don't look at the basilisks. It's creatures. Fabulous stuff, you all. I don't want to read into it. What was this? A Gorgon Medusa from the Greek vase in the 6th century. Since the beginning of antiquity. The basilisk serpent also has the same power to kill with its gaze. It is a native of Cyrenaica, not more than 12 inches long and adorned with a bright white marking on its head, like a sort of diadem. It routs all snakes with a hiss and does not move its body forward in a manifold coil like other snakes, but it advances with a middle raise high. It kills not only by its touch, but also with its breath. It scorches up the grass and burns the rock. Its effect on other animals is disastrous. It is believed that once one was killed with a spear by a man on horseback, the infection rising took the spear, killed not only the rider but the horse. You all, this is really wild. So we're reading about these 100 eyes, these one-eyed monsters right here. You can see the images of them. They're like Cyclops, and they probably had to exist, or they wouldn't have these little images of things with 3 eyes, 2 eyes, things all over your head, and the eye monster. What is the eye monster? It is it's the villain of the Cartoon Network and the Powerpuff Girls. It was really strange, the Powerpuff Girls. You ever watch the Powerpuff Girls, you all? My daughter used to like watching the Powerpuff Girls. And I wonder if there's something to them. It's in the Vatican, the one eye evolving Sylvia. Yeah, it was cool, right? Let's see this. The eye monster came to Townsville and started destroying everything in sight. This is saying a lot. The eye monster has eyes all over his body. You know, this is really strange. My daughter, she had this stuffed animal that had eyes all over its body. I said, where did you get this? She said, off the internet. But it does. It has eyes all over its body like that. And I'm wondering, what if that monster is real? It can see everything at all times. The eye monster blasted lasers out of his eyes and vaporized the building and the vehicles. Oh. The Powerpuff Girls flew in to save the day, but at that time Blossom had a botched haircut that looked like hilariously bad. So when the eye monster saw it, he started laughing uncontrollably, as did Bubbles, Buttercup, and the entire city of Townsville. When Blossom saw the way she looked with her new haircut, she felt so embarrassed that she flew away and went into hiding out of shame. Aww. And once with the absence of Blossom, the eye monster was free to destroy everything. You all, what if this is symbolic about this eye? Like this eye in the sky, the third eye. You know, the people use that, the actors, the Hollywood, the eye with the pyramid. It destroyed everything. Oh my gosh. Bubbles and Buttercup tried to stop him by picking up sharp objects and attempting to stab him in the eyes. but they needed to sneak attack for that. And since the eye monster could see eyes all around him, he would always see them coming, and he vaporized their weapons before they could do any harm. So Blossom was hiding her horrible haircut, and her sisters took a beating from the eye monster. And the professor convinced her that she should not care if anyone else is making fun of her for the way she looks. And it's more important that she feel confident in herself and her endangered sisters. So when she went back outside on the battlefield, the eye monster stopped. She now utilized her bad haircut to attack the eye monster. Blossom embraced her stupid appearance and told many jokes, making fun of herself and her bad haircut, and the eye monster was laughing uncontrollably. While he was laughing, his eyes closed, and Bubbles zapped down an eye beam, and Buttercup grabbed hold of it, and they smacked the eye monster like a baseball bat, sending him flying into outer space. So he was flying into outer space. He was hurling through the cosmos. The eye monster, likely to no end, but he did not seem to care, and he probably didn't notice because he was still laughing. You all, why would they do that? The eye monster is a giant black spherical orb with a bunch of big detailed eyes all over its skin. It has a big eye in the front, which leads it with a bunch of smaller eyes over the rest of its body. His eye is most detailed out of them, and he contains such a pronounced iris that it's slightly lighter in color. So we got a eyed monster too, you all. This Cyclops right here seems to be, and then the eye of Sauron. There's something about the eyes. If you can see these things right here, I just wonder what it is. What was this? Ronald Merchant, the astronomer, the three-eyed monster? Well, what if there was a three-eyed monster? What was the three-eyed being? 1, 2, 3. So whether or not these Cyclops that we looked at right here, whether or not they're real or not, they're in the history. Look, how to draw a monster. Dragon Ball and the Triclops. The three-eyed monster, the one-eyed monster. Let's get back to the monsters, you all. Gina, can you put it back to you? I sure can. Let's get back to these monsters. And did Hercules or any of them battle something that looked like that, I wonder? I think like when they were going, somebody was going for the golden fleece. There was like a Cyclops on the island that the people saw. Images of Ezekiel's wheel. I was thinking that too, Rose, when they said it was all around it, but they gave it like a mythical monster like shape is what they did. Ezekiel's wheel. Could be the Ezekiel's wheel with eyes all around it. And is there, I'll tell you what is up in heaven, the eyes. The, what do they call them? Up in heaven, the beasts in heaven. Let's type it in. In heaven with eyes all over their wings. Because they're called the beasts. And they got eyes all over their wings. This is how it is depicted. All over their wings. There's something significant about it. There really is. The beasts, the 4 beasts in heaven. If you saw something like that on earth, it would be really scary. You saw these beasts coming out with their bodies, their eyes. There's, you think this could be Ezekiel's wheel too? Right here? Wonder what that could be. I really do. What could that be? The elders. There they are. They're all sitting in their chair. The divine council are the 24 elders are considered the divine council. Beauty and the Beast. Heaven's eyes. The Free Social Encyclopedia. Heaven's Eyes. You got a false prophet right there. That's kind of, it's got some teeth in it. It's got a lot of teeth in it, y'all. Gina, you get back to what you were on. I am going to get back to it. I was just looking. I really was just looking to see what was going on here at these images. And it could be, it really could be Ezekiel's wheel, this third eye, three-eyed monster. And they just made it up. So we wouldn't catch on that there is something out there like Ezekiel's wheel with eyes all around. And that could be the third eye. But what if it isn't? It's something to think about. It is. I am going to go, you all. This is only 35 minutes long, so it's okay, you all. I'm going to turn the air conditioning on up here. It's probably 85 degrees or 90. That's right. Ezekiel's wheel is in London. Interdimensional. I prefer extraterrestrials. Leslie, I know it. I know it. So I am going to go, you all. And with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I look forward to see you all tomorrow. Thank you, Susan B. and Applebee Honey. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you to all the members who have joined. And thank you to all the subscribers. Please give this video a thumbs up. And I will speak to you later. Love you.